Test 1 2. Let's see if this thing works. Saying that it's receiving the content. I'm going to sit here and check it out. Let's see what happens. Come on now. Come on. Work. It says I'm live. Now I gotta sit here and see if it's gonna give me the things I need. Come on. Work, damn you, work. Let's see if it's gonna work. See if it's gonna give me. There we go. And the voice is there. We're gonna be up, possibly talking about everything that's gonna be happening. I'm gonna sit here and finish this thread as soon as I sit here and get everything else. Let's see what we're doing. Probably I'll start putting out events later on, but the fact of the matter is I didn't put one out yet. I want you all to understand what's going to be happening tonight in terms of the videos and everything that's going to be playing. Let's see, my channel I'm going to put up that is live now. Here is the what's going to be happening tonight in terms. One moment. Sorry, still doing a few extra things and still haven't figured out all the stuff. Oh, come on. Stupid lefty pole capture. Oh my god, they changed it around too. There we go. Okay, click off that, put that up. So we've put the, oh snap, shoot, put it in the wrong spot. I'm gonna be delete posts. That is not supposed to be helping. I was in the wrong thread. Oops. That was not supposed to happen. Oops. Let's try this again. Okay. Let's try this again. And make sure it's the right thing. Upload an image. Let's see. CommieBot has been working rather well. We'll put that for the stream thread so people can see that, and hopefully I can take away that other image. Oh, it did. It went away. Phew. Alright, let's see what's going on. Go back to this thing, video manager. Sorry for being so unorthodox here, people. Alright. Oops. Alright. So, gonna wait for people to get here first. Let's see how it goes. One second. Make sure we got people on the stream. We'll see if that works out. Go ahead and put Paul Robeson in here. Wait for people to get here a little bit, or give them a chance to get here. Then I'll go ahead and go over the information of what's going to be talked about tonight. You know, first 4 or 5 minutes, I don't think anybody's going to really pay attention. So let me go in. change it to one thing. Control C. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. Stream is up. And I'll just put it one last time, just in case anybody wants to pay attention. But if not, I'll go over the stuff that I was going to talk about in regards to Hillary Clinton. We'll be talking about two different progressives and how the Democratic Party basically sabotaged them, McGovern and Henry Wallace. We'll also be talking about Bernie Sanders and the Phantom Movement, where a lot of people have basically railroaded themselves into the Democratic Party and not gone outside of it. And that's one thing that's going to very much limit the working class people. I mean, I can root for Bernie Sanders all day, but this was going to be a threat to tedium. But a lot of people thought that he could do it within the Democratic Party, and then they see how entirely and morally bankrupt it actually is. We're also going to be talking about the coup of Dilma Rousseff. So I want a lot of people to sit here and look at that. Let's see. Am I seeing anybody in the chat? Unfortunately not. I'm not seeing anybody in the chat at this current point in time. So let me see. Oh, we've got one person that's watching. I think that is slowly coming in. So, final thing is going to be Gerald Horn on Paul Robeson. I mean, I can't do this man justice, but I want a lot of people to sit here and understand exactly why I have such a fascination with Gerald Horn, why I talk about Paul Robeson, and why this is somebody that I really do believe a lot of people want to get a lot closer to the struggle in some way, shape, or form. So, let me see. Let me go ahead and let me answer this, because I don't know. Okay, I see one person on the stream right now, but if nobody's gonna be here, I'm gonna probably just go ahead and do the things that I gotta do. And hopefully, if you all are in chat, just go ahead, come in chat, and feel free. Now it went to... Right now, I'm looking at the chat, and a lot of people are just talking about a whole bunch of crazy mess. So, we're not going to really get into that stuff. We'll let the people talk about that stuff if that's what they want to do. This is mainly a political chat, so I hope a lot of people want to understand what has been going on within the last week and a half of just political news. What are the things that are going on with the election, especially with the Bernie Sanders campaign and the social democracy. Now, I'm not necessarily involved with the Bernie Sanders campaign. I know a lot of people are sitting here rooting for the guy as president. There was no way in hell he was going to do that through the Democratic Party. It had been taken over by Bill Clinton in the 1990s. So to sit here and capture the Democratic Party, you have to go against the entire establishment. And that's just not something that Bernie Sanders nor the working class were ready to do at this current point in time. A lot of people don't have the class consciousness that they were supposed to do. But we have seen that Bill Clinton along with Hillary Clinton are some of the most corrupt people this side of the earth. Every day there's a brand new scandal for this woman. Every day this woman shows how she's more and more a Richard Nixon than any other candidate on in the America for this long of a time. It's just amazing what has been going on. This is why I say that Hillary is the new Richard Nixon. Now, Richard Nixon is probably more liberal than Hillary Clinton is. She claims that she's a progressive that gets things done, but the fact of the matter is, when you look at everything that she's done, how everything has been going on in regards to all of the things that, all of the corporate dealings that she has done. She has sold herself, sold her soul, sold the devil. I mean, she sold everything that she could just to make some more money. There is not one stone left unturned against this woman. And it's just amazing how she constantly does these things that basically take away any kind of idea that she's a progressive in any way and could get anything done for the people that really need it the most, the working class. Now, I know a lot of people were hopeful about Bernie, but the fact of the matter is, Bernie, I mean, for all intents and purposes, even though he caucused with Democrats, even though he's a democratic socialist, the fact of the matter is the resistance to him from the Democratic Party, that has been one of the biggest things, that has been the biggest hurdle, because he has not sat here and appealed to the working class enough to make them go and vote in their own interest. Now, a lot of people are waking up to how entirely morally bankrupt it is, but if he had started a lot earlier, that's one way he could have sat here and gotten more people. If he had sat here and called out some of the corruption that was going on, that's another place that he lost. I mean, for the most part, I'll get more into this later on, but the fact of the matter is, in regards to Hillary Clinton, most of the scandals, most of the things that she does, it has gotten tiring at this point, because the fact of the matter is, she is just bought by the corporations. She does what they want, and we've gone over this more times than not, because the fact of the matter is, no matter where you turn, she always has a scandal after scandal after scandal. So I really don't want to sit here and spend the rest of the time talking about Hillary Clinton. I just wanted to sit here and briefly talk about the fact, if you look into Richard Nixon's past, you'll see Henry Kissinger that connects these two, and it seems that she's learned a lot more from Richard Nixon and being a Goldwater girl than anything else in her life. That's just how badly she's done. Now, here's what I want to do. I'm going to sit here and talk about the progressives, because Bernie Sanders, being a progressive, fighting with the Democrats for wrestle control of the Democratic Party away from them, that is something that, for the most part, it has been done before. There has been movements to sit here and do this, and this is just the latest one. There's been at least 4. Henry Wallace, George McGovern, Jesse Jackson, and of course Bernie Sanders himself. This movement has been pretty successful. He's done a lot to detoxify socialism, so I do want to say that is a great thing. But the fact of the matter is, it's like he's not really running for the presidency anymore. That's been one of the big problems with him. I mean, when you saw McGovern, if you ever look at the documentary A Bright Shining Moment, George McGovern sat here and ran on a populist campaign. He was pretty successful, and right then and there, Hubert Humphreys stopped him cold, and basically stopped all the momentum just to sit here and basically tear him a new one. It was a very hard fought victory and a very hard fought battle, but the fact of the matter is, in terms of George McGovern, he lost his presidency, but he won in the end because that ended the Vietnam War. But George McGovern is an example of a progressive that lost the battle but won the war, and he really truly won with the peace movement that he basically helped to bring in. One person that lost, however, would be Henry Wallace. Now, a lot of people don't recognize this, but Henry Wallace has been one of the people that you really have to look at, because this was the man with the New Deal. This was the man that basically gave us a lot of the things that we take for granted now. Social Security, he reinvigorated agriculture. He did a lot of subsistence for the people at the bottom of the food chain. This was the man that majority of people wanted. Instead, the Hillary Clinton of the time was Harry Truman, who dropped the bomb on Japan, who kept up the firebombing, who basically wanted to sit here and go to war and give us war. And for the most part, on that one, we unfortunately lost. But the fact of the matter is, with new technology, we're able to sit here and get our democracy back. That's something that I do want to get into at the end of the night. But the fact of the matter is, with regards to this, with regards to how we sit here and listen to the news, things like that, we didn't get to hear much about Henry Wallace. And for the most part, the corporate media will never recognize our lions and our progressives in any way, shape, or form. So Henry Wallace, I really truly sit here and recommend, look at the info, look up Henry Wallace, look at what he's done, and see that we have had movements to sit here and fight for democracy in every way, shape, or form. And let's be honest, Henry Wallace probably would have sat here and done a better deal with Russia as well as Japan to sit here and get them to surrender and, do the things that they need to do, instead of having to drop 2 bombs and so much devastation that right now Barack Obama will not apologize to Japan for. That's something that's a great damn travesty. Now, when I look at Canada and look at what Justin Trudeau is doing in terms of apologizing to some of the Japanese for turning away a ship, that is something that you really truly don't understand here in America, because America has turned so conservative, it's beyond ridiculous. And the reason that we've turned so conservative, I mean, if you look at it from outside of America, you can see how conservative we are. We don't have health care for every last person. We sit here and have prisons labor versus regular labor, and we treat people, the workers, so badly because we have so much prison labor that we can sit here and utilize. Those are just some of the things that are the problems here in America, especially with how we don't recognize our progressive movements until the very end of them. And speaking of which, we'll go into Bernie Sanders and the Phantom movement. Now, the reason for this is a lot of people don't know how much that is pigeonholed. I mean, I've talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but the fact of the matter is, in regards to Bernie Sanders, in regards to what has been happening or what has been occurring, is the fact that Bernie Sanders was not going to win with either Desi Wasserman Schultz. He was not going to win with Hillary Clinton. And they thought that they could just write him off, and he absolutely got something far more unexpected, because a lot of people, for the most part, a lot of people basically were seeing the results of 40 years of neoliberal capitalism. And that's, adherence to the market, more corporate intrigue, more and more for the corporate enterprise, but less and less for the public infrastructure that should have been there in the first place, but has been decimated since Reagan. So for the most part, it wasn't that he wasn't going to win, but he tried to do the damnedest that he could. He made do with what he had. He limited himself to sitting here and endorsing Hillary Clinton. And on top of that, I mean, now there is a Bernie or Bust movement, but the fact of the matter is, even with the Bernie or Bust movement, we have the very real prospect of a Donald Trump. I don't think that Hillary Clinton can fake left as much as she could. I mean, she still has so much arrogance about saying that she has 3 million more votes by ignoring the caucus wins of Bernie Sanders, ignoring what he's done within 10 months, and basically undermine exactly how weak her campaign is. And she's done that more times and more ways than I could possibly ever understand or imagine. She started with the biggest lead out there, and for the most part, she's absolutely lost it. She is losing to Donald Trump on a number of things. And Bernie is trying to save the Democratic Party, but it's like they don't want to be saved. They'd rather drown with a person that they're committed to sitting here and trying to see that she is going to go to the White House. And under that delusion, I don't think for a second that Hillary Clinton will ever see the inside of the White House again. She is a representative of the 1990s that has decimated so many families in America. Black, white, Latino, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, Hillary Clinton cannot win the Democratic Party because her record is so terrible. If you want to sit here and look at how she feels about minimum wage, look at what she did in Haiti when they wanted to go from 31 cents to 64 cents an hour. She sat here and stopped that. When you want to see her record on race, you look at her Super Predators comment. When you want to see who does she sit here and fight hardest for, she was a member of Walmart, a CEO of Walmart, which is beyond ridiculous, but that's what that's what the facts actually say. She worked for the corporate America, and she has not done much, if anything, to sit here and change that view. Especially how much and how anti-labor Walmart is. That is exactly how she sits here and treats you. And you look at her for the debates. Don't get me started on what she's done to California, what she's done to people with her 3 strikes program, along with Bill Clinton, because that's a package deal. A lot of people are following her tepidly, and not enough people are going to be following her because of how many things that she's done that nobody really wants to sit here and back her. They'd want a Bernie Sanders, but based on the rules as they are right now, which are basically turned over against Bernie Sanders, he doesn't have a chance in winning, and that's supposed to be the presumptive nominee. But if California goes the way it's supposed to go and he gets 80% of the vote, hang it up. She's going to sit here and lose every way from Sunday. So that's basically what is happening with the Democratic Party. But I mean, the democracy here in America is also going to Brazil. Now, if you haven't been listening to what's been happening in Brazil, for the most part, there has been a soft coup. Now, there's 2 different types of coups. And America has been very, very involved with Latin America for a long time, running coups on everything that they can find to sit here and grab the resources for themselves, grab the resources for American businesses, and then do the best they can with what they have. Dilma Rousseff is the latest victim of that. She's probably one of the most honest politicians in Brazil. She's representing a left-wing, center-left party, a workers' party, and for the most part, the United States, with all of its business interests, has effectively basically run a coup on her. And it's just come out recently that in regards to that coup, the man that is now president, I don't even want to remember his name, but it's out there. The fact of the matter is, with regards to what has been going on, is that he has secret emails talking with the military, discussing, business opportunities and all these things. How do you undermine the movements that are running around in Brazil, especially the ones that Rousseff has been trying to sit here and enable and empower in some way, shape, or form. The indigenous, the African Americans. I mean, he had an all-white cabinet, and that cabinet has effectively done a lot in regards to basically trying to look to undermine as many rights, undermine the corruption scandals that have been going on in Congress that have basically been taken over by over 300 members of the Congress have been looked into for corruption. That is ridiculous. But that's one of the things that's been happening. So, for the most part, I know that we should have some solidarity with Brazil. They're not the only ones that are seeing these problems. I mean, right now, Colombia is seeing them. We know of other countries, but effectively, the United States still has its fingerprints all over this one, especially with the fact that the United States, the president, the Brazilian president right now, was working with the United States in the past. And so you can tell what has been going on. Finally, we get to the final discussion topic for tonight. Gerald Horne on Paul Robeson. Now, I'll recommend anybody that wants to, please give this a watch. I know it's an hour and a half, but Gerald Horne is probably my favorite Marxist scholar because the fact of the matter is he does a lot of great work in sitting here and helping us understand what happened with the communist parties, what happened with the socialist parties here in America, what happened with regard to slavery, and what happened in regards to everything else that's been going on in America. Why is it so conservative? He's done this for decades, and he has over 30 books, and the most recent one is the one in regard to Paul Robeson. Now, I watched most of it, and the fact of the matter is, in regards to Paul Robeson, he was a social democrat in some way, shape, or form. The point is that he basically helped the civil rights movement move along. I mean, he was giving international pressure to the United States when he was in Europe, and he was finding people to sit here and work in solidarity with. One of the things that he was big on was sending his son to Soviet Russia to sit here and learn and be educated without all the racial prejudices that were coming around in the United States. He was a very well learned man that was constantly learning grammar and languages to sit here and make sure that he could speak to people in different dialects and different ways, such as Norwegian, Asian. He was sitting here and constantly looking up words. This was a man that was a true Renaissance man, and we lost him because not a lot of people know much about Paul Robeson. That's exactly why I put that he was the voice of the century on this YouTube page. So for anybody that's very interested in trying to learn how the class struggle was for the 1950s and 1960s, go ahead and look at this man, because this man did a lot of work to sit here and help you all out, to sit here and make sure that if we want to fight a war, which is exactly what class struggle is, it's a war against the rich, we all have to sit here and be on an international level, solidarity with the working class, not only here in America, but also in China, in Brazil, in Russia, everywhere, to sit here and undermine the things that sit here and take away from all of the things that we're talking about in terms of taking away our rights on indigenous lands. That's something that you have to fight on the local, national, international level. That's how I view it, and that's something that I'll probably be looking into later on. But those are the topics that I have. I don't see quite yet any questions. I'm trying to sit here and see if anybody's trying to ask, but very, very interested. Addison Morris. Hey fam. Howdy. So, that was my rant for tonight. Those were the topics. And for the most part, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll sit here and open it up for at least 2 minutes. If there's no questions, then, that's pretty much everything that I was looking at. So let's see. Nope. Making sure that everybody's heard it. So it's gonna be almost 30 minutes. And that was just one of my quick streams to make sure that I talk about everything that's been going on, give you all a little bit of historical context, sit here and talk about some of the more recent things that have been going on, especially with Brazil. Addison Morris. Sorry, I just got here. I heard you on the B-Bands, didn't I? I wasn't on the most recent one, but I believe that I'm on the 7th episode. Jagos. So I have 2 YouTube channels. So if you want, you can always listen to these older streams, and I always have the articles down at the bottom, so you can look into those separately of whatever happens here. Comrade Yui, I'm here. Well, how's it going, Yui? Hopefully you like the stream. If not, I mean, I could probably go over anything that you want me to go over, or you can see exactly what I was talking about. Read the articles later on, because I don't know, I just wanted to sit here and have a few topics to go over, and then after that I was possibly going to see if there's any questions, because I don't even remember what we talked about, Addison. Sorry. I'm horrible with memory like that. I have to sit here and write things down, or I just kind of forget them as I get lost in my own world. Sorry. So, trying to see if there was any other questions. Let me make sure. Trying to see. Can y'all hear me? I was playing Arkham Origins and eating pretzel bread. I got nothing. This guy. Arkham Origins. I mean, that is the best one of the series. I don't know about the pretzel bread, though. I mean, that's kind of weird, if you ask me. But let me make sure that everybody can hear me, or if I'm just imagining things. That's kind of weird, if you ask me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, alright. Comrade Yui. Finally, someone else agrees with me. It's my favorite of the series as well. It's the only one with a decent plot. Well, I haven't played any of them. I mean, I started watching the first Arkham Origins, and then my laptop cannot play it at all. The fact of the matter is, I have a 5-year-old laptop. I need to sit here and get it updated, upgraded sometime this century. But I'm hesitant because I do not hate with a passion, the Windows 10 operating system. So I have to make my own computer, get the parts, make my own computer, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. What's your favorite Pokemon, and what do you think is the most proletarian Pokemon? This guy. Dude, I'm old school. I stopped playing around Red and Blue. So all these new Pokemon, I cannot tell you anything about them. So out of all of those, I'd have to sit here and go with Hitmonlee. That's the most proletarian Pokemon because, straight up kicking fools. Martial arts. That's like, Asian proletarian Pokemon. That's exactly what I'm looking into. Now, my favorite Pokemon, I can't tell you. it's been a long time, and honestly, it's been so long I didn't even. I mean, in terms of favorite, I can't give you a good honest answer. I mean, it took me a while to understand the meme of Hot Skitty on Waylord action. So I don't have a necessarily favorite Pokemon. I couldn't tell you. So you have good taste. Well, thank you. So who's that Pokemon? Psyduck. How about that? Crazy bastard. Gyarados. Nope. Magikarp. No. Pikachu? Nah. Couldn't tell you. So, alright. Well, trying to make sure there's no more questions, and more than likely, I'm going to start scheduling these as events, so that way everybody can sit here and begin to see what's exactly happening. I'm still learning this YouTube stuff, and I'm still horrible at it. That's my main problem. That's one goal that I really truly plan to sit here and fix, because I don't know how to run Google Hangouts. I don't know how to run this thing. I don't know how to schedule an event quite yet. I'm going to be working on that, and hopefully, as I get more and more into this stuff, I can sit here and figure out how the hell is all this stuff going to work, so that way you all can see it, and then you all are informed of everything that's going on in regards to when I stream, when I start, and then the topics, and then you all can sit here and come in with everything that you want to talk about. So I'll probably start trying to put that more into the threads. I'm still horrible at it. I apologize. It's been a while. I mean, the main thing was I was still pissed off because I should have talked about the identity politics stuff, but I think I'll save that for the stream tomorrow, and I'll talk more into identity politics and sit here and talk about the feminism and all this other stuff, and sit here and do the Bill O'Reilly fuck it, we'll do it live. That's exactly what I'm gonna sit here and call it, possibly. So other than that, I'm going to sit here, and since there's no more questions, unless somebody has one, other than playing Arkham Origins over there, Yui. But, okay. Doesn't look like there's any more questions. Alright then, people. It's been a good stream. I answered some good questions. And I'll see you all next time.